The cerebellum, or little brain, sits here in this caudal region of the brain, butts up against the brainstem, but is not part of the brainstem. It's a puzzling little part of the brain. We've known for years and years and years that it has a lot to do with motor coordination. So it's one of three or so of the main areas of the brain that make you a better basketball player or a baseball player or a better violinist. Something where you practice enough that you gain what some like to call muscle memory. But there's no memory in the muscles, let's be clear. All the memory is in the wiring of the cerebellum and a few other areas of the brain that we'll talk about. But something came up several years ago in looking at people with autism and their brain scans. And what some people found was that there were decreased cerebellums, which didn't make a ton of sense at the time because people who suffer from autism aren't particularly uncoordinated. They don't particularly have motor coordination issues. So it seemed a little strange at the time. But of course, upon further review, we found that the cerebellum isn't necessarily a motor coordinating center. It is a fine-tuning center. So it does indeed fine-tune your motor coordination. It makes a ballerina be a ballerina, right? It makes a classic guitarist be able to play beautiful music. Okay, but it doesn't just fine-tune your motor movement. Scientists have found out that it fine-tunes your sensory systems, your emotions, and even learning and memory. Now let's go back to thinking about if any of you have had any experience with someone working with someone suffering from autism at any level of the spectrum. Something that is fairly common is kids with autism, especially in the more severe cases, they don't like sensory overload. They don't like to be hugged or touched. They like things consistent. And so it starts to make a little sense that maybe there is something wrong in the cerebellum as it has to do with sensory system fine-tuning. And who knows if it's cause or effect, when that might happen. But at least the pieces of the puzzle start to make a little bit more sense. So please know that the cerebellum, again, for years, thought simply as the area of the brain that can make you hit that 40-foot jump shot. But actually more complicated than we thought. It is a fine-tuning center of sensory systems, emotions, and learning and memory as well.